Hello and welcome to a CBK gaming video. Join us as we discuss and review Folklore, the Affliction, Fall of the Spire by Greenbrier Games. So what is Fall of the Spire? Does it belong in your collection? Should you go and buy it? Well, those are the questions that we hope to answer here. Firstly, you need the core game to play this. It is an expansion to Folklore, the Affliction. You will find a link to our review of the core game below. And it's no secret, anybody who's watched our videos knows we love this game. Folklore is one of the best games that we have in our collection and gets better and better with all the expansions. This is the second expansion, the first being Dark Tales, the second being Fall of the Spire. It adds new characters. You get 6 new characters to play. You have the Gentleman, the Viper Maiden, the Magus, the Huntress, you have the Warlord and the Druidess. All with really nicely moulded figures, interesting character details and choices for their careers, interesting lore, additions, and they make fantastic additions to the core game.
Yeah.
You get a whole host of new items, new events, journey events, so whether that's the road or whether that's off-road, new world events. But they've added something that we really appreciate and something we discussed, we thought was missing from the game. Town events. So now when you go to a town and you take events in that town, you have the opportunity to fall foul of perhaps some of the local criminals, or perhaps to help out some of the local populace. You may even find new rumours or new things to do. And it works so well. But they didn't just stop there. They also changed combat. So they've added an initiative tracker. And that tracker allows for, rather than a roll of a dice at the beginning of combat to decide who goes first, now there's an initiative order. And there are skills which change that. There are abilities that come on that initiative tracker for the monsters and for the players if you are lucky enough to roll the right numbers. And that gives another element and actually makes it a little bit more thought-provoking, the way that you actually carry out the combat. The combat is still a typical role-playing style rolling dice. I've got no problem with that. We've grown up with role-playing games. That's how you do it. It works well. Just as using cards for combat works well for those games. It works here because this is a role-playing game in a box, and those mechanics enforce that even more. The miniatures themselves, beautifully made. You'll see on the screen now some lovely sculptured figures. I really enjoyed painting some of these. Now, hand on heart, I haven't painted most of the monsters yet, as you will see, unfortunately. We just haven't had the time, but we will be sitting down and getting those painted. Add to that, they put this beautiful creature crate together. So pleased with this, that we can get all our miniatures in a single box with all the various trays, easy to reach, easy to have on the table without having them spread out everywhere. Really is a helpful, useful and time-saving tool. I feel very sorry for Greenbrier Games when they first had this come out, because there was some problems with the manufacture, there was some mould found, and it must have been heartbreaking. And Julie and her team never let that impact them. Or at least they didn't show it to us. They've been great with their communication throughout all their Kickstarter. They've been engaging with the community, and I know we've spoken a number of times on Facebook when she's had their sort of Q&A almost. They are a phenomenal team. I really like supporting these guys by buying their products, because you get great quality, amazing images, you get an amazing story. Not only that, if you get the ability, you get the companion book, you can build your own stories, so you can role play out. The one thing I would love to see is get in touch with Awakened Realms, and let's get some of the characters, Neve, Bors, as playable characters in Folklore. I would absolutely love that, and I think there's the ability to do that. I think there's player characters in this world. I'd love to see that. It's something about it, just my two favourite games to play merged into one, with some character crossover. Absolutely adore. So, as you can tell, the enthusiasm for this game is huge.
Yeah.
You get so much buying this game. This expansion in the UK retails for between £40 and £60, depending where you go. And if you can find it, it was very hard to find for a while. And you get so much content for that money.
You don't just get the story. There's so many sort of byproducts to it. You can get a rumour and you can just go off and do the rumours, or you can wait until you're passing that area of the map. But the fact that everyone can have a different rumour at different times, and the story just goes on for ages. It's wonderful. You're not just doing one story and get to the end. You're discovering this entire world and everything that comes with it. And I truly love the way they've done this.
I think you're absolutely right. Rumours make this world a bit more alive and add to that world. It keeps the world moving. Now, there are some things that we have changed. So we do have some house rules, and they're rules that I think make the game. Actually, we only have one house rule, in fairness, and that's around the shop. And that's that in the rules for Folklore, you draw an item and that's what's available to buy. We've gone with the Mansions of Madness approach to this, in that each town has a number of items available to buy, and every time the story chapter changes, we reduce one of those cards and put a new one in place. We don't have the same number of cards, so the larger the town, then the more cards there are. So we start with 5, the next town gets 4, and the next town down gets 3. And that just allows us to see through the different items that are available. There are also the recipes, which we've taken out and separated, and you can buy recipes separately, but you have to just draw the top one, and it's luck of the draw for recipes, because we just thought that was a better way of doing it.
And for me, it's more thematic when you go to a town, because you would go around the market and you would see what the traders had. You wouldn't just randomly pick up an item. So going to the market and going through the cards, you feel that you're walking down the street and you're looking at this stall, you're looking at that stall. It just draws you even more into the story.
Yes, absolutely. There's other things that we add to this game, and we will go through at another point. But to quickly state, we add new some of these tree models just on the map because we like how it looks. We've put some other decoration down, and we put those on the adventure maps as well to build it up, and we think that really adds the immersion and adding to the board. I think that looks really good. Now, are there some aspects that we think could be a little bit better? No, the quality of the cards, very good. The quality of the print, very good. The only slight thing that I've found with the game is that the newer characters, they tend to be more powerful. But there is a drawback to that. They don't have as many skills. So they might be more powerful in a fight, or able to concentrate on particular aspects of their role. But take, for example, the archaeologist, who has a lot of skills that they can bring to the table. I didn't find that so much in the new characters, and that's fine. That gives them a niche.
Yeah.
I found the druidess became particularly powerful, doing the healing and other bits and pieces. But I really enjoy playing her. And actually, that's the point of the game. You enjoy yourself. Sometimes that's about making a game very hard and actually having, that trying to beat that game over and over again, trying to beat that AI. And sometimes it's about the journey. And I think this Folklore does that very well. The initial characters and the characters that come in Dark Tales sometimes can be quite difficult to play, especially through some of those earlier stories. But the Folklore, the Affliction, the Fall of the Spire characters do well on the main adventure tiles, but sometimes when it comes to the road events that require certain skills, if you haven't got quite a wide variety of skill set within the party, you tend to hit some problems in those areas. Whereas the earlier characters, I didn't find that happened as much. And maybe that's just by luck, maybe that's just the characters that we chose to play. But that's one thing that did seem apparent playing the Fall of the Spire.
But it also makes it interesting for me that when we were deciding, do we carry on down the road and do a road event, or do we chance it and go cross country and take an off-road event, there's then that discussion of, do we think we can handle it if we go off-road? Whereas before, we weren't as concerned about it because we knew there'd be a player would probably have the skill set to do whatever challenges we met.
I see it the other way around. With the Fall of the Spire characters, I was much more prepared to go off-road than I was with the earlier characters, simply because a lot of the time we'd end up in a fight and sometimes we weren't geared for that.
That was due to the choices made.
Well, yes, absolutely, but the majority of the time I found that we tend to hit fights and you tend to have the battle map, the adventure map out for some of those, and they can be quite hard. I found that the Folklore Fall of the Spire characters coped with that better than perhaps the other characters.
I will also say, for the new characters, it's the first time. Normally I've picked a character and I've picked which lore tree I want to go as we progress through the story. And I've been great, and we've finished that one. I've gone, new character, I want to try a new character, new lore tree. With these characters, I actually want to replay them and do the other alternative on the lore trees. And I love the options that are there, because I was doing the Warlord and I really had difficulty deciding which lore tree I wanted to do, and just went, well, that's fine, I'll play him again and do the different lore tree. And then I want to do the same with the Viper Maiden and the same with the Huntress. I really do like the character creation they've got with these new characters. Yeah,
I love the models, I like the characters. I'm really looking forward to playing the Viper Maiden. I haven't played her yet. The Huntress is fantastic. The Pugilist, I know Joel, who plays the Pugilist in the game that we play, he absolutely loves that character, and it's so funny, the role-playing that's developed around that character, who is the most luckiest character in our game. If somebody's going to get knocked out, it's going to be him. If somebody's going to fail at a test disastrously, that's going to really cause problems, it's going to be him. But the one person that's going to pull us out of a fight, it's going to be him. It really does work very well. I like the non-combat element of the Druidess as well. So being able to add might, playing a musical instrument, so you lose your turn, so you might not be able to fight, but you enhance everybody else's ability. That's proven really useful at times. It's nice that you've got that team player element. If you're in a fight, but it's not everyone doing their own bit, it's working together as a team. It's really easy to visualise. Yeah. And I think that's what's so important. And I think what we'll leave you with, as you can quite clearly see, we're very passionate about this game. It's a game that we've bought friends for Christmas, and in fact we've bought them all the expansions for following Christmas or birthdays. And I know they absolutely love it. They play it with their friends. This is a game that's seen a lot of time on our table, and people have come around and they've gone, oh, what's that? That looks interesting. Oh, I'd like to play that. And we've always had to say, you're only here for an evening. We could start a game, but then you're going to have to come back. No problem with that. So it's one of those games that everybody always wants to have a look. This, Tainted Grail, Massive Darkness, they always seem to draw people's eye to playing it.
Yeah.
So,
and even during the lockdowns, this was our game online, wasn't it?
Yes.
We found how to play it online, and we had friends that we were still playing with because we didn't want to stop playing this. We wanted to know where the stories went, where the journeys took us.
And I know I mentioned it to Julie on one of the recent things she did on Facebook. I said, I really hope there's more coming.
Yeah.
And she kept quite tight-lipped. But I think that they're working on some other games. I think they've been pouring their heart and soul into Folklore for so long.
Yeah.
But this isn't the end. We know there's more coming. There's more stories to tell. But not only that, if you've got that compendium that allows you to write the stories, you can add to those stories. And what I would like to do is, I've got some ideas that I want to put together, and I want somewhere to share those ideas. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. Once I've finished painting the figures, that's important for me. So I think if you've got Folklore the Affliction, get this.
Yeah.
This really adds. Those town events, superb addition to the game. The initiative tracker, excellent addition to the game. Characters, brilliant. If you can get the creature crate, excellent. Really good thing to own. If you haven't got Folklore the Affliction, go get it. It's that simple. This is a game I believe belongs in everybody's collection. It is simply that good. It's a crossover between a role-playing game and a crossover between a board game. And there's not many of those style games. And this is a role-playing game in a box. And if you want to role-play it, do so. If you don't and you want to play it as a board game, play it as a board game. But it's when people who have played board games and not role-playing games, people that played role-playing games but not board games come together, that this game really shines. And it's a great stepping stone into cooperative, story-driven games. If you don't like having the cooperative element, have a GM. Have a GM play up that. Yes, the stories are in there, but that can be told by a GM. It can be run as a GM. And that's worked really well as well. If you've got 6 players, or have 5 people playing, 1 person GMing it. It makes a really good way of playing the game.
Yeah.
The thing that you need to realise when you're GM or running a game, it's not about beating your players. It's about making a story. And that story might mean the death of a player, but it must always add to the story, and that's what these games are about. And I think sometimes when people want to play a competitive game, it's about winning. It's about beating your opponents. Absolutely. And I think this is just a certain different element. It's storytelling. That's why I love it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us spurt about the game that we really, really enjoy, and spew forth a lot of positives, which is great. That's how it should be. Yeah. If you've enjoyed this review, please consider subscribing. Please consider liking. It means a lot to us. We really would like to start building our community again. We've taken a bit of a break just simply because of a few nasty things that happened at the beginning of this year. We're back. We're going to be doing more and more. We're going to be adding some nice new elements to the reviews. We're adding quite a few extra war games. We're really getting into those more hardcore sort of next war games. So next war Poland, next war Korea, next war Thailand, next war India, Pakistan, next war Vietnam. They're all on our list. along with a lot of the Warfighter games that we've got, and a load of Compass games that we want to bring to the table. So the next set of reviews are going to include Everrain. In fact, we're going to put this away now. We're going to play Everrain, a game we played a couple of years ago with the Grimlord guys at one of the UK expos, and we loved it. We've been really waiting for this. This is a fantastic game. We've gone all in. So we're really looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
Yeah.
So Everrain will be coming. Massive Darkness 2 review will be coming. We just want to play through some of the other characters. So we're going to review the core set and then review the expansions. We've decided doing expansions separately means we can spend more time on the core sets. We're doing the same with we'll do the same with Everrain. That gives you more idea of what you're buying as a core game if you don't want to buy any of the expansions. Yep. It also, we can actually state which expansions to buy first. And I think games where there's only 1 or 2 expansions, that's not so much a problem unless they're very expensive. But when it comes to Mansions of Madness, where there's such a choice and glut of expansions, that gives us the opportunity to say, this is the order in which I would buy them and why.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched to the end, even more appreciated. If you have watched to the end, bung a comment into the comments about what game you're looking forward to playing in the next month or so, or what you would like to buy. What's your Grail game? Let's get some questions going. I'd really like to understand what people's Grail games are, or what you're looking forward to playing, because I want to get an idea of what people are actually playing at the moment and seeing. Okay, thank you very much for your time. See you in a week's time. Bye.
Bye.